Welcome back to Mortgage Giants. I'm tall, he's taller. Let's talk mortgages.
Man, I'm gonna start off here with the sun in my face, which was crazy because last time we were in this room, the sun wasn't in my face. So that's spring.
Yeah, it's
That,
happening.
that means spring's here.
It's happening.
The days are long. We're in a heat wave.
Yeah.
60
Heat wave plus 6.
plus 6. It'll be like plus 16 at some point.
Yeah, I think this weekend's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's awesome. Man, I think there's gonna be more people in Alberta year over year if the weather just stays like this. Forget about the economy and jobs. Just this weather.
Yeah, pretty mild winter
is enough to make people move here. Yeah. And so yeah, I'm excited. I know, with the young kids too, getting outside, having that ability is awesome.
Yeah.
So, and with spring and with weather comes a uptick in mortgages.
Yeah, it feels like we're deep into the spring market. Yeah. Even though technically spring hasn't even started, it feels like it's the busyness of the spring market.
Yeah, it's definitely got that feel. I mean, the amount of phone calls and just people getting ready. And honestly, this year, I have a short-term memory, but I feel like most of the calls that I've been taking this week, people are really trying to get prepared for a purchase.
Yeah.
I always get a couple of those panic, we found a house, we're writing an offer, let's rush. But for the most part, I think people are really doing a good job of being prepared, getting prepared.
Yeah. But it feels like it's extra because you've got the regular flow of new clients coming in, reaching out. But it feels like there's a lot of people from last year who chose to sit out intentionally are now reaching back out all right, I got to get this done.
For sure. Yeah, there were a lot of people that did opt to wait. So yeah, that's definitely upping the numbers right now. Inventories aren't there. Unfortunately, people aren't listing the houses at the rate needed to satisfy the demand. So it's going to be a bit of a seller's market, I think, this spring. So there's just not enough supply right now.
Yeah,
I actually saw MLS today. A client, he was really excited about it, and the house looked really nice on photos, but it was a flip, and the person sunk some significant cash into the house with no permits. Only a permit pulled was electrical.
Yeah.
So there are about 4 or 5 outstanding permits that would then be passed. The risk would go on to the new buyer. So, that's another example of a flipper doing a real poor job and not actually helping the inventory, because that's a pretty big risk.
Yeah.
To take on.
There was a little bit of a controversy in the flipping community on TikTok. There was a couple who flipped a home and did some renovations with stuff that set people off when they thought they were being cute and oh, look at this flip that we did.
Yeah.
There's the beam, a really nice wood beam up on the ceiling, and it was a fake styrofoam painted.
Yeah.
But there was stuff still hung from it. So how long is that light fixture going to hang there?
Yeah.
And then there was a fireplace that needed to be cleaned, and they essentially just put plaster on it to give it this German brick look.
Right.
And somebody chimed in and there's mold that should have been cleaned off of that fireplace. And what happens 15 years from now is all on that buyer's shoulders.
Flippers, that's a part of the problem. And I think why BC and other provinces are going to follow suit and really try to curb the flipping business, because unfortunately, flippers do a lot of damage to really nice homes.
Yeah.
They go in there and especially in character neighborhoods, established communities, they have these beautiful houses that needed updating because maybe somebody lived in there for 50 years. And, a lot of original carpeting and hardware and cabinetry. They'll put in just the cheapest builder grade, whatever's sitting on a pallet in the Home Depot parking lot.
Yeah.
And just wreck it. Just completely wreck that house. Remove all the character, all the charm, and that sucks. It's brutal. It's heartbreaking for a lover of houses and real estate to see those flips go so bad. Oh, it just breaks my heart.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Or the choice for look over function. I get you want things to look good, but they'll make a shower that looks really nice, but you step in and there's not even the space to turn around.
You got to turn the water on while the door's open.
Yeah.
And then you gotta Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks. So, I mean, buyer beware. Some of these flips, I would say you need to get the best home inspector, if
Mhm.
not two of them in there,
Yeah.
to really make sure
Make
that you're
sure.
protecting your
Yeah.
purchase, because flips, well, it's just a moneymaker.
Mhm.
There's no emotional attachment.
Yep.
All they care about is the profit.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's completely different than buying a house that was updated over the decades by an owner
Yes.
who was living and,
Yeah.
making quality updates.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you walk in there and it still smells like vinyl flooring,
Yeah.
that inspection is so important.
Yeah. Yeah. You get
Yeah.
a backup one just in case.
Oh man, yeah. You won't be sorry by spending money on a quality inspector.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. So anyway, that was just this morning. I felt bad. The MLS listing looked great,
Hmm.
perfect, great community, right where the buyer wanted to be. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, awesome.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Can't do it. So
Not
yeah,
happening.
yeah. But what else is going on?
You want to talk about some of the job situations
Oh.
that we got going on?
Yeah. So I mean, bond rates, which determine fixed rates,
Hmm.
have sort of they did decline last week.
Yeah.
We're in the 3.5 range, 3.5
Mhm.
range. So nice to see things stable
Yeah.
in there. Would love to see that come down a little bit more.
Yeah.
But we keep seeing these job numbers come up, and there's they're saying positive job growth,
Right.
but I saw this great analysis too. But when you actually factor in the new population and the immigration
Yeah.
into job numbers, there's actually more unemployed people. So although public and private sectors are showing increased job numbers,
Right.
there's actually more people.
Right.
That really it's kind of a false number.
Right.
So, and job numbers and unemployment really do factor into inflation and the strength of the economy.
Yeah.
So I think that number is going to be sticky until they really factor in what the true population growth is with job numbers and start to look at it that way. And a part of it is too, and when you look at net job numbers, if those job numbers are part-time
Hmm.
or self-employment,
Yeah.
that's often second jobs.
Yes. Yeah.
Like if somebody leaves a full-time job or is laid off from a full-time job, but then is taking a part-time job, is that a net gain? No. Or if a person who is working a full-time job then needs to take a second job just to support due to inflation, is that a net gain?
Yeah.
No, because now that person was obviously employable to begin with. They have a full-time job.
Yeah.
And if they're entering a labor market and competing against somebody who's maybe less employable,
Yeah.
now they're more likely to get that second job over somebody that needs a first job.
Right.
So it's just not accurate. I just
Yeah.
think that we always need to, especially review those types of numbers with a little bit of grain of salt and look at maybe some more factors that go into true health of the job sector.
Well, what makes it so tough too is not everybody has the time or energy to dive in to all of those things. So if you get somebody who wants to just manipulate things for their gain, whether that's a politician or whatever, they can show this, like, look, there's more jobs, it's all good. But like once you dive in, it's like, well, it's not what it seems.
Yeah, it's like the GDP per person, Canadian average, every Canadian is making less money than last year.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter. Like that's a true data point that I look at. Like we can make more dollars, but when everything costs us more, we are losing.
Yeah.
That's a true data point in my opinion. And I don't really care about job numbers because it's going to take years for our population to settle and people who have immigrated to actually fit into the economy and get long-term gainful employment. Right now, I think it's a weird data point to focus on.
Yeah. But, and like the elderly who used to be in a position of retiring with all the expenses are not in a position of retiring. So now they're keeping on to that job for a longer period.
Yeah.
So
that's right. So the promotion for the the 40-year-old doesn't move up,
Yeah.
creating more space to backfill for the younger generation. So that's a good point.
Yeah.
It is all circular for sure. And this is where I get a little bit, okay, this is my conspiracy theory
Yeah.
of the week.
Okay.
I don't think that we need to start a new segment for this, but rates have been up for the last couple of years. So people that have been renewing their mortgages have been renewing into a higher rate.
Mm-hmm.
We all know this.
Yeah.
It is now my opinion that if the Bank of Canada and if there were measures to be taken to actually lower rates in 2024, I think that they will delay that.
Okay.
Because I think Canada has an unhealthy view on equality.
Okay.
And they would opt to say the people renewing now should also feel the same pain.
Right.
As the people who have been renewing previously.
Oh, yeah.
Why should Canadians now, have the benefit of significantly better rates when their neighbors have been bearing the weight of higher payments and reducing inflation up until this point? We think maybe we should all share in the pain and equally bear.
Oh, wow.
And that's my tinfoil.
That's where you think they're coming from.
It's an unhealthy, it's a weird view on equality. And, and I think if half the population is bearing higher payments, I think that they can make that rationale in their minds that
everybody's in the same boat
now. With a higher payment for everyone, everybody shares equally in the reduction of inflation and excess cash in the market. So fully acknowledging that's the tinfoil hat, but I just think if given the option, I think that they will keep rates higher for just even think about every month that goes by, the thousands of Canadians that were renewing into higher rates, and also then reducing the amount of available excess cash in the market. So every month has a big impact, and I think that if given the choice, they could use some weird equalization logic.
To just keep things.
It's wild. I know. I just feel like it's something I would not be surprised.
Well, I mean, like how they've acted in the past has not been. Well, it was surprising. So if they did something like that, it wouldn't necessarily be surprising now.
I think that if you don't, if they create a divide, if rates just fell off a cliff quickly, which I don't think they're ever going to fall off a cliff. Let me be clear on that. But if one section of the population then gets another 5 years at significantly better rates than another part of the population, in theory, they should have a leg up or a better opportunity than this part of the population. And I think that that's where some people get divided and then they're like, that's not fair.
Right.
Well, it doesn't, like timing and crystal balls and time machines don't exist. And a person who just happens to be renewing a mortgage at this point in time should not be penalized if rates are better than they were last year.
Right.
But it's hard. And that's where divides get created. It's organic. I mean, people's renewals come up and it's luck. What global events happen at the time of your renewal is hard. Hard to predict. But in theory, people can get lucky and at every renewal just happen to catch the rate cycle. And if you renew one or two renewals at good timing, whereas your neighbor was 2 years behind you and they were on the off years and you were on the on years, that is a significant change to a household position.
For sure.
And there's nothing we can do about it.
One thing that could be done is because there was a time period where not everybody, a lot of people had to take a 5-year because that was the lowest and that's only what they could qualify for. But there was a lot of people who wanted a 2-year, but because the 2-year rate was that much higher.
That's right.
What they could do is like they've done for the insured, for all renewals, it's based on contract rate. Like that would be something that's reasonable because these people did something right the first time and got into a home. Now let's give them the opportunity to stay in that home at reasonable rates. And if they think that rates are going to be better in 2 years, contract rate renewal, let them and then they can try and time it that way.
I like that a lot. That allows them to break the cycle.
Yeah.
I think that they do remove the way our benchmark and qualifying rates do operate in Canada. You're right. Even variable today, if somebody thinks that they want to bet on the variable coming down, they might not qualify because it's a full % higher than the fixed. So we're forcing Canadians into fixed rates when they really want a variable. They really want to watch that variable rate come down, but they do not get that option because of our qualifying system.
Exactly.
So you're right.
And like still keep some qualifying for the purchasing side of things, but don't punish the people that did things right the first time.
Yeah, you know? that's a great thought. It is hard because you see people not having all access to the full market based on qualifying.
And they're trying to follow the advice that people in power are giving, because people in power are talking about rates could be coming down in a couple of years.
Take a 2-year, take a 3, and you're like, I can't. No, they're not letting me.
Exactly. By rules that you implemented.
No kidding. Yeah, that's so true.
So that would be the way to like really help everybody have an even playing field on the renewal side.
Yeah, for sure. And people, I think, on the renewal side today are making conscious decisions to take higher rates to set themselves up for the next renewal. So I think that it's not all about rate today. It's really about strategic renewals and seeing what the market does bring us in the next 24 months. So
fingers crossed.
Yeah, well, it's trending in the right direction. So I think it's good. People that did wait last year will be seeing better rates as long as the house that they want hasn't gone up too much in price.
Right.
It might be a net neutral. That's to be determined. But rates are better today than last year, so that's positive.
There is some rumors by I don't know who, but I've had a couple clients come to me that they're hearing rates are going to be in the 3% range in a couple years. And that seems extreme. The idea of hoping for like a full % drop, so we're in the low 4s, would be fantastic. But to have a 2% in a year or two, that seems like a lot to be hoping for. Maybe in like 5, maybe, or 4.
To get a rate back that low quickly, I'm not sure what has to happen, but I think that there would likely have to be some global events. Unemployment would have to go up dramatically, and the government would need to be stepping in to boost the economy again. And when the government has to step in to boost the economy by making money cheap to borrow, that's usually because there's a problem. So at 3% rates in a short period of time, you might be unemployed.
Exactly.
Like a lot of people who are waiting for that rate are cheering that rate on. It could come, but you might also be unemployed when that rate finally hits. So there's a balancing act between healthy rate environments and stable jobs. And
how long it takes to get there. Like if it takes 5 years to get to 3, that's very gradual process.
This is a deeper conversation, and I don't know if I've given it enough thought to fully speak on it yet, but historically, variable rates have always been below fixed. Today, they're a full % above fixed. So what
not more in some.
If not more. So when does that flip again? When does that inversion happen? And so if the variable rate has to now drop 2% to then make it an appealing mortgage option and be below the fixed. So variable rate 6.2 today. So let's say it drops to 4.2. In my mind, the fixed rates still need to stabilize in the mid to high 4s.
Because that's typically how it's always been.
That's how it's always been. So are we going to get back to that normal relationship of fixed to variable rates? So even if variable rates come down 2% by 2025, which is still on the table, that doesn't mean that fixed rates drop by the same 2%.
Exactly.
They could stabilize and return the normal relationship, variable and fixed rate mortgages. So that's where I'm in, thought right now, and to say, how are those two relations going to interact over the coming years? And because if the variable rate doesn't ever have a projection to get below the fixed again, it'll be a dying product.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
like a very niche reason why you're taking it.
Yeah.
If it's never gonna
Yeah.
get better.
Yeah. So that's why I'm more hesitant on being that bold predictor on where fixed rates get to like 3.5%, because then that means the variable rate has to get to 3 or below.
Yeah.
And that's a 3% drop from where it is today.
Yeah.
And that just seems like a longer road.
And that's the COVID drop.
Yeah, that's the COVID drop. That's a global pandemic drop.
Yeah.
So be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Time will tell.
Time will tell, and it's risk tolerance, family situation, and how are we prioritizing stability over upside of potential rate changes.
Yeah.
So all super important conversations.
Yeah.
And yeah. So
well, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.